So welcome in. And this month, of course, Valentine's Day comes to mind. All of the hearts are everywhere you look. And so I thought maybe our theme would be to love our home. So love spending time in your home. Love how much easier it is to care for, fewer belongings, to clean when there's less stuff around. Love using the things you're keeping, right? Use them and love them and enjoy them. And if you're not using and loving them, pass them on to someone who will think it's the best thing ever. And then they'll love it if you're not. So, for all the reasons and more, I think this is a perfect theme. It suits us beautifully for our February timeline. And we're going to be talking about those 10 key things. So during our time together, we'll look at items 1 through 10. We will have two, not one, but two live tidy up moments. So if this is your first time here, it may surprise you to learn that there will be two times during our hour where I will set a timer and invite you to leave our program running and step away if that's possible. If for any reason it's not possible and you have your phone nearby, you could always do a little digital decluttering, deleting emails or unsubscribing from emails or deleting photos. So you're always welcome to join us. It's always optional and it's very short. So if you're like, I didn't know that was part of this and I don't think I want to do that, then you could just hang out with me and we'll see what everyone else is off and doing. And if you're like, that sounds interesting, maybe I'll try it. I sure hope you will. And if you've been trying it with us and it's your most favorite part, then good news, there's not one, but two moments tonight. So let's dive in so that we can get to those timed moments. There'll also be that resource list, a reminder about next month's program. And of course, I'll ask you if you have any questions and what you might want to know. So to get us started, I wonder if you could answer this question. You could pop your answer in chat, but if you'd like to keep your answer just for yourself, I really hope you'll answer this question. And the question is, today I am most proud of myself for, and then fill in the blank. There's no wrong answers. That question again, today I am most proud of myself for, and fill in the blank. And I just love that we're probably going to get a wide variety of answers. Sometimes the answer is, I'm just proud that I'm here. I tuned into the program. I remembered it. It may be a task that you've accomplished, a thought that maybe wasn't so kind about yourself and you changed it to be a positive thought. And I can see all the lovely comments rolling in. Thank you all so much for sharing. I think, it just makes us feel less alone and more connected. So emptying my mom's closet for joy. Life, says Joe. I'm with you on that one. Showing up for this. Mary Lee, for sure. Not giving up, says Elise. Absolutely, Marcia. Trying to declutter. And I'll encourage everyone, and I even caught myself using that phrasing, trying to do it. We're doing it. We're here. We're doing it. We're in the middle. We're just continuing. Shelley says, engaging a real bookkeeper who can help me organize. Shelley, is this related to a certain time of year with taxes? I could certainly relate to that. And Anne says, oh my goodness, sending a job related email. Okay, well done. Sometimes it's an uncomfortable email. Sometimes we're stepping out of our comfort zone. Sometimes we're reaching for a new job and hoping it comes through. So for all the reasons and more, tackling clutter, says Carol, and making time for my 90-year-old parents, says Deb. Oh my goodness. Such a key one. Thank you so much. I can't, they just keep rolling in. I'm scrolling through and I will absolutely read everything. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. The more that we focus on what's going well and the positive things and turning a not so positive thing around, and in this community, hopefully feeling comfortable to share something in chat that maybe you're like, gosh, I'm feeling a little down about this. You have all our support, mine and everyone here. So it's a really awesome group that we've created, and you're a part of it. So thank you. Well, let's look at number one on our list because you're probably super excited to learn what it is. And here we go. Number one on our list of 10, it's all about the coffee beans and the hot cocoa and the tea bags. So I thought we would start here, and you might be thinking, this seems pretty small. It's, well, unless you have like a whole shelf or a whole cabinet, then it might be a little bit more. But maybe you were thinking, oh my gosh, Jamie's going to start out with something big, like organize my entire space. Sure, that might be the ultimate goal, but I think when we start small, it's almost like the snow that so many of us saw today, where it's like, well, I roll a little bit of snow and I roll it in a little bit more snow and a little bit, and all of a sudden, what started out as a tiny marble of snow becomes a gigantic snowman. And so, how lovely to think that we sort of just do a little and a little and a little, and it gets that ball rolling, and all of a sudden, you're like, whoa, look at what I created. Big change, but I don't think big change comes from starting here and going there like that. I think for most of us, oftentimes, myself included, it's little by little by little, and all that progress adds up. So that brings us to number one on our list. First of all, many of us may be having a snow day. And so if that's the case, it's time to bring out the hot cocoa. But if your hot cocoa packets or your cocoa powder is questionably old or definitely expired, sometimes it gets like too moist or damp and then it becomes like a hard rock of hot cocoa. Tea bags don't last forever, really, in terms of like its best flavor profile. And coffee beans freeze dried coffee. And I thought we'd start here also because a lot of us may have found ourselves entertaining over the winter holiday season or being gifted maybe a gift basket that included stuff like fancy tea bags and specialty coffee, coffee pods, but you don't have the coffee pod machine, or loose coffee, but you have a coffee pod machine. And so there's a lot of times where these things are just tucked to the back of the pantry cabinet door or drawer. And you're like, gosh, I haven't seen this in a really long time. So we begin here. For safety reasons and just its, best flavor experience, 1 year is a typical sort of guideline. I can't say for sure that it wouldn't be good beyond that, and it may be safe to consume, and maybe you regularly do, and you feel differently about that 1 year timeline. But I also would maybe encourage you to think about a timeline in terms of not just safety or best flavor experience, but also how long are we going to hold on to things that we're not using on a regular basis? So that's just something else to consider. So if it is new and sealed and within date and you're not going to use it, that seems like something to share, pass along, even a food bank item. Once it's past its best by sell by date, that's usually something a food pantry cannot take in, and that's just going to be a legal situation, just to keep everyone safe. So tea bags, coffee beans, and hot cocoa is number one on our list. So if you're taking some notes with us during our time together, you may like write down number one, and then you'll write down two through 10, and then the notebook might end up getting put away. Then you'll bring it back out maybe next month and go, oh, that's right, I meant to do that. So if you'd like to, as we go along, if any one of these ideas is really for you, or if it sparks an idea that is for you, can we maybe schedule it? Put it on the calendar, add it to your to-do list, but on a specific day and time. Like, when are we going to do this? And so this is number one on our list of 10. And I always love seeing in the chat how many of you are saying, like, oh my gosh, I haven't been in this cabinet for a while. I don't even know what I'm going to find. So sometimes it's a bit of a treasure hunt to see what we're looking for. So, yay. Okay. Well, if you're ready, here we go with number two on our list. And again, keeping with the theme of February and Valentine's Day and all the love, we're looking at boxes of chocolates. Now, of course, the most important question here, I think, is if you were gifted this box of chocolates, which one would you eat first? Or do you eat your favorite, or do you save your favorite till the end? How do you know like what's inside? And which one would you be disappointed to get? I never really liked the orange cream or the strawberry cream one. Definitely not the raspberry cream if it has seeds. I'm more of a truffle or caramel kind of person, hazelnut for sure, but I'm never really quite sure which one's which. So I have three younger sisters, and one of them pushes her finger into the bottom of them so she can tell what they are, and then she puts them back. So I won't tell you which sister, but if she's here, she knows who she is. And we all know too. So there you go. It is actually helpful though, because then I can check. So think about, first of all, the most important question here, do you like chocolate? And if so, which one? So, oh, we've got some of you that like the ones with the nuts. Those are sometimes a little too crunchy for me, but I'll take it. Oh, if it's a macadamia nut, I'm in. Absolutely, and yes, they don't really last that long, so, yep, the cherry ones, especially with the cherry cordial. Listen, we could have the next 45 minutes talking chocolate, so I'm gonna get back on track. This is a very distracting picture, though. So when we're talking about the boxes, it's not just, like, the cute boxes that come with the chocolates inside. Maybe you saved the box from last year's chocolates, and boxes do make great drawer organizers in general, right? Just not this shape. It's really hard to butt them up against one another and make the best use of the space when you're trying to get like a heart-shaped one or a diamond-shaped one inside the drawer. Now, here is an insider tip. If you're going to use drawer organizers, whether you've purchased them commercially or you are just repurposing like Tupperware containers or boxes from around your home, please put the drawer organizers in the drawer, and before you fill them, shut the drawer. That's going to let you know whether or not those organizers are too tall, because there's been one time too many that I've forgotten this step. I get it all organized. I go to shut the drawer and my organizer's too tall. And so I just encourage you to check it first. It's almost like if you have a garage and you want to organize to get your car in. So you take everything out. And then, of course, your neighbors think you're having a yard sale and probably come over to buy your stuff, which you've only just moved it in the driveway to get it organized. Then you drive the car into the garage. Well, here's the thing. If you haven't driven it in, opened the doors, and marked the spot, you might end up driving in when you're finished and realizing you can't get out of your car because we've crowded the space. So always measure first. That's why, as a professional organizer, I always have a tape measure with me. It's such an important tool for the kit, absolutely. But boxes do make great drawer organizers. If you're in the market for a commercial style drawer organizer, and I don't know that you are, I'm not saying that you should be, I'm just suggesting that if you don't know this particular style I'm going to tell you about exists, it might be really interesting to learn about. Most of us know about the drawer organizers that are sort of customizable. So it's a variety of boxes or your own configuration. You can put them in and arrange them how you'd like, sort of like that game Tetris, right? Where you've got to move the boxes and things. And then there's like the molded ones. So it's, pre-formed. Think of like a utensil or silverware organizer where it is one size. Sometimes they, slide out a little to the right or the left, but they're really just sort of molded and there's not much else you can do with it. So if your item doesn't fit in there or you want to change how you use it, it is molded the way that it is. So if you hadn't seen these on the market, and they've been around a while, but if you weren't really like into drawer organizers the way that I'm into drawer organizers, then you might not know that they exist. And they are just, think of spring loaded or tension, like a tension curtain rod. So they've got a spring in them and it's just the divider. So it's just the length of the drawer or the width of the drawer and it's tension. So you could put it in a variety of ways. And the interesting thing about that is because it's not molded, you're not taking up extra space for the drawer organizer itself. So you're really able to use the majority of the drawer for the organization. And you can make designs with it. You can make thin little columns if you wanted to put in like your socks or something smaller. You could make it larger. So it's super customizable for today. It's easy then to move around as your needs change, move it to a different drawer. So it's a fascinating piece. It's just a tension or spring-loaded drawer organizer. And if you didn't know they existed, let us know if you've used a style like that, because it is one of my favorite. So here we have the boxes, and it's not just the chocolate boxes from, specialty Valentines, but it's all of the good boxes, the boxes that you save. And we know that we are, officially an adult when you have a box and you go, "Oh, that's a really good box," right? You kind of almost say it out loud and then you catch yourself. You're like, oh, yep, I've hit adulthood. So we probably need some boxes, but unless you are sort of selling things online, which we do have a program coming up in the summertime, I think, and it's going to be about selling online. That was a request from so many of you, so I created that for you, so stay tuned. But unless you're like having to mail a bunch of stuff out, or if you're sending care packages to a college or university for a grandchild, a child, niece, nephew, we don't need as many boxes. So Shari reminds us saving boxes is turning into your parents. That reminds me of that commercial online. So there you go. Oh, we've got a request for some of the brands for the drawer organizers, and I would say Eucopia is one of my favorite. Youcopia. Copia, Ucopia. It's not an ad for Ucopia. It's just one brand that I've used myself more. Rubbermaid also has some, and of course, that's a well-known brand. So thanks for inquiring. And yeah, it's always nice to know which ones, and then go by the reviews as well. And if you're looking for that custom look, get the drawer organizer in the color of the interior of the drawer. So if it's a light wood, a dark wood, a metal, a gray, a white, and that's going to give you that built-in look. So if you're looking for something that's a little designer-esque, it doesn't really matter. They're going to function the same. It's just, it's pretty obvious it's an insert if it's not the same color as the drawer. So if you're looking for that designer touch, that's another little insider tip for you. Well, number 3 on our list, and this is the one that's going to bring us to our very first tidy up moment, and it's all about the magazines. So I'm thinking about like your to be read pile. So anything that's sort of come with you from 2024 and it's still hanging around and it's sort of on your mind, like, oh, I should be reading that. I meant to go through that. Oh, I wanted to maybe look at that recipe or that article again. So magazines, and I would be remiss if I didn't remind you that we can borrow those magazines, enjoy them at the library, Overdrive. I mean, if you're receiving subscriptions and then you're behind on the subscription and you're feeling pressure to read them and you're not like on top of it, and then you want to clip stuff out of them because it feels like you're going to miss the information if you don't, but then the magazine comes next month and it's kind of the same thing. Now, I just want to express, and I think this is going to come up in the chat if it hasn't already, and that is some of us love the magazines. We refer back to them. You may be keeping them for research purposes or reference guides. You might keep them because you love to cook and you're always looking at the recipes and menus. Maybe you're doing a little decorating, or you're thinking you might do some decorating. And so you've got decor ideas. Absolutely. But then we probably want to say to ourselves, like, how many? Because you're probably noticing if you've gotten a particular magazine year after year, the magazines tend to be pretty similarly themed month after month, year after year. So similar information that came 2 years ago on spring cleaning is, guess what? Coming again. And it will be up to date information with new products that are available. So you might say, I'd like to keep a year in stock. I'd like to keep 3 years in stock. I'd like to keep all of them in stock. Great, but that probably means something else needs to leave. So if you haven't tried looking at a magazine online, if it feels like that would never work for you, maybe just see how it goes. Try one. I'm not saying stop the subscription and then just see if it works for you. Try it. And if it does, you might be pleasantly surprised. For me, the magazines, the bigger thing was I didn't want to forget that I liked them. So when I kept a list of the magazines that I wasn't going to resubscribe to, I had the confidence that I wouldn't forget the ones that I liked. So if you'd like to join us, this is going to be the chance to do a little teeny tiny tidy up with us. So if you have, oh, a little stack of some things to be read, magazines to be looked through, something to skim, this would be a great opportunity. And this is always optional, but if you'd like to, we'd love to have you join us for a teeny tiny tidy up. So if it's available to you and you have a little to be read pile nearby, I'll invite you to join us. If this feels like, oh no, I'm not ready for any reason, and you don't have to have a reason, but if it's not quite right for you right now, don't worry. You can do a little digital decluttering or just hang out with me for 2 minutes as everyone may be joining us to tidy up their to be read pile. So my invitation to you, I'm going to issue a bit of a challenge, and that is in 2 minutes, can you find 2 things to skim or simply recycle or discard? So we're looking for 2 things. They may be 2 magazines or 2 things from your to be read pile. And if you'd like to join us, I'd love to challenge you to a bit of a tidy up. Always organize carefully. No one is getting up on a step stool, so keep your feet on the floor. We're going to begin our challenge in 3, 2, 1, and go. Our timer's ticking. You have 2 minutes to find 2 things to be done with from your to be read pile. And of course, choose your own organizing adventure. Timer's ticking. And 1 second left. There's our jazzy timer. And Sue and Linda and Carol, Everyone has been so busy. Karen, thank you so much. Oh my goodness. This is amazing. So that was, may I remind you, 2 short minutes. So let's celebrate that win. Congratulations. That was 2 minutes. Imagine if you spent 2 minutes a day just going through a backlog of something, whatever that might be. Look at Luann and Jen. I mean, this is amazing. You all are so impressive. And thank you so much for celebrating those wins with us. That was 2 minutes. So just imagine if you set that timer just a little bit longer, what you'd be accomplishing on a regular basis. This is very impressive, everyone. Way to go. So whether you were able to join us for that or not, I hope you'll try it later or try it again later and just see what you can do. Very impressive. Well, we'll have one more tidy up moment. So if you were inspired by that one, stay tuned. And we're moving on to number 4 on our list, and we're talking cute novelty items. Maybe more so this time of year than any other time of year, I find all the super, super cute things, right? You see the things that like have snowflakes on them or tiny little hearts on them. I always think of like the salad tongs. And of course, maybe you use salad tongs. Maybe you don't ever use salad tongs, but you have some salad tongs. But then you're in a store and you're like, oh, look at those cute salad tongs. They have like little hearts on them or, cute little spring critters or flowers or something. And when I see sort of those novelty versions of things, whether it's like a practical kitchen gadget, but it's the novelty version or anything else, think of like maybe a particular store that you might shop in that when you first walk in, there's like this section of $1 to $5 things and everything there is super cute. So you probably maybe have experienced that area when you're shopping. So the thing is that it tends to not be the best version. Those are not the best salad tongs, the ones that are going to work for the longest amount of time, be your best quality. They're also going to be a challenge because if you already have salad tongs you're not using in the drawer, and then you get the cute ones. Now the drawer's really not going to open and close. So they usually can't go in the dishwasher. You have to hand wash them. They're more delicate. For all the reasons and more, you can tell I'm not a big fan of any like salad tongs that have hearts on them, but all the really cute stuff. In fact, I talk about it in Keep This, Toss That, and I give you that definition for the acronym, which you can see on the screen. If you're dialing in and cannot see the screen, I'm going to read it out to you so you don't miss anything, and that is cute. So think of it when you go, oh, that's so cute. Cute salad tongs, a cute figurine. There's a teeny tiny cute miniature flamingo on the screen. There's cute stuffed animals on the screen. So cute. If you think of CUTE, and I think it stands for can't use this ever. Can't use this ever. So, it gives us a little giggle. We kind of smile a little. We're like, oh, yeah, but you know what? Probably right. Some cute things, you absolutely love them. They bring you joy. Those are the ones to keep. But just random things we picked up or were gifted or just had to have or ordered out of a magazine, maybe we snap a photo of it, keep the photo, and let the actual item go. So cute items, and we'll talk a little bit more about some of these keepsakes in a minute. Luann asked herself, do I really need this? And I love that. And Luann, I don't think you got this from me, but I love that you're asking this question. And that's a question that I actually have on a sticky note that's wrapped around my credit card. So when I go to pay for something, I will reassess. And there are so many times when I put something back on the shelf or hand it to the cashier with my apologies that I won't be purchasing it. So Veronica says, I love it. Can't use this ever. And it just reminds me of like, I don't want to clean it. Where am I going to put it? It's one more thing to maintain. It's one more thing to collect dust. It's all the stuff. Now, Shelly's got a great idea, kind of repurposing them, right? Using the items in a different way. Maybe something can go out into the garden. Fantastic. So now it becomes useful and it's not just another cute thing sitting on a bookcase or a dresser top or, a windowsill that's just in the way. And I don't even see them after a while. They're there, but they just become part of the landscape, and I don't even really love and enjoy them. They just, like, become one more thing. So, fantastic. Thank you all. So many funny comments. You all are so great chiming in with us. So cute. Can't use this ever. And that's number 4 on our list of 10. Well, moving on, we're going to wrap up here. Number 5, we're halfway through, and this one is crafts. crafts, crafting supplies, and I highlight this one. And I know the talk tonight, the program title is like the things a professional organizer would toss. So, sure, there may be some things in the crafting department that I might toss: dried up glue, paint we can't use. We're talking about like paintbrushes and stuff like that. But here's the thing: I'm inviting you, as you know, before we get into summer fun and all of that, are there some things that you can start to create? Hobbies that you've forgotten about, things you purchased to use and haven't for whatever reason, life got busy. You need a table to work on the craft and you had to declutter the table first, which of course we just started doing with the magazines. So make the craft. Get out the woodworking tool. Were you going to make an Adirondack chair? Great, let's make it. If not, let's donate the wood. So all the things, maybe you made one bracelet and you want to make more. Get out the crafts, do the things. That's what it's there for. So I think in terms of this, I would really encourage you to consider, is this something that you want to make? And if it is, can we use it? And then if not, can we give it to someone who can? Now, a lot of the local stores in my area, you can donate like a half done, sort of like cross stitch pattern. And so go right ahead. These are the things that someone else will use in a new and unique way, or they'll finish it, right? Which would be wonderful. Someone should finish it. So this would be a great way. If you're thinking about this, create, do the things. A lot of times I think I would put the like doing the fun stuff like the craft at the very bottom of the list. Let me do all my decluttering first, and then I'll do the fun thing. And may I remind you, the decluttering is probably never finished, which is why we get together month after month. Your interests change, your ability to let more or fewer things go changes, what you're interested changes, but also what you're getting in changes. You take one pass through and you want to break, and then you take another pass through an area. So do the fun thing. That's what recharges our battery, and then we keep going. So I love this. Well, this is number 5. Let us know in the chat. Do you have a particular craft you're interested in? Are you going to maybe commit to doing a crafty thing? Check with your local library. There's often different programs that are running, craft events you can be a part of. Needlework, right? If you bought all the yarn, like let's do the things. Oh, Veronica just said, I'm learning to knit. We said needlework, and there she is. So we love that. Well, hopefully you can see my video well. I know a few of you mentioned if I could pin it. I think that's on your side because I should be side by side to you depending on how you're seeing it. So, but the most important part is you can see the slides. So many awesome comments coming in the chat about how to share things. So thank you everyone for continuing to comment. We will have some additional resources at the end, but I love your super specific ideas and they're so spot on. Well, here we go. Number 6 on our list. Here it is. The sweater you do not love. Now, I'm pretty sure we all have at least one, and I'm just inviting you to find the first one. A sweater you don't love. The one that you never reach for whatever reason. And I listed a handful of reasons for you, but there's probably so many more. So here we go. Oh, Veronica's, I probably have 5 or more. Oh, yeah, for sure. Pat, in just a bit, I'll show you those resources, and each one of them would be great for what you're asking. So hang on for the resources towards the end. They're also available throughout the book. The blue little boxes in here where there's blue boxes like those are the resources, and you can see a full list alphabetized at jamienovak.com. Well, the sweater that's scratchy, the sweater that's loose, the one that has a wrong neckline, the sleeve length isn't right. You don't like the color, you don't like the design, you don't like the material. The care and washing of it is hand wash, reshape, and lay flat to dry. And who really wants to do that? Maybe you love that and you've got the counter space, then that's the sweater you'll keep. The garment weight or the length is wrong. I have a cardigan that zippers up the front, but the zipper's like a very heavy duty, heavy weight. I don't know, it feels like it pulls the whole sweater down. I always want to wear it. I put it on and I always take it off. And then I always think I'll like it. And this has been going on for years. So guess which sweater's leaving? So it's scratchy, loose, the neckline, the sleeve length, the color, the material, the design, the care, the washing, the weight, the length, all the reasons. And then, as Karen points out, you probably have one that's absolutely perfect, like your favorite sweater that you reach for time and time again. I don't like a mock neck. I don't like a turtleneck, but I've got one that's sort of like a boat neck, crew neck combination. It's the perfect weight. It washes well. I always get complimented in it. I feel great in it, which is probably why I get complimented in it. It's a great color. It's the right size. It works for most seasons. That's what we want front and center. And so there's other stuff that's kind of in the way. Why are we holding on to it? And you might say, well, I spent good money. Yeah, well, you can't get the money back now if it's beyond the return period. Like, it only serves to remind you of how you spent money in a way that you probably wish you hadn't. Why keep that? And if it was a gift, well, it was a lovely gift. And the gift is in the exchange of the I thought of you expression. The actual sweater, or substitute in any other gift, is just the physical representation of the care that person had for you, that they purchased you something. So there it goes. Thank you so much, everyone, for jumping in and answering a bunch of questions and sharing new ideas in the chat. I just love it all. Thank you. Thank you. So number 6 on our list is all about the sweater. Now, here is an insider professional little strategy. When I'm working, like when I had the pleasure of going to clients' homes, or when we're talking here in a program and you're like, well, how can I make this easier? I have an idea about how you can make it just a little bit easier. And that is when you clear off just enough space on the floor of a nearby closet where you could put a small basket or a box, talking about those boxes from the very beginning of our time, some sort of a small container that's easy. It's like open on the top so you can just drop stuff in. We leave that there. And then as you find yourself passing by a garment and you're like, I never wear this. When I declutter my closet, I'm going to have to put this in a bag. Oh, no, no, no. You've made the decision in the moment, drop it right into that container. And then when the container is full or getting close to full, it would be a wonderful time to schedule a pickup or drop the items off or whatever you're going to do. Sometimes I'll sisters, we have a similar style and things, but then, at a certain point, there they go. And it also gives you the opportunity, if you're sort of going a little bit outside your comfort zone, to make decisions, especially around clothing. And clothing will be an entire program coming up in the near future, so stay tuned for that one. This gives you the opportunity that it's in the container, that if you needed it back, I mean, the idea is not to pull stuff back out of it, but it almost acts as a maybe container. Maybe I won't wear this season. And you decide it's in the container. If you do want it back, you change your mind for any reason, there's a different occasion, you could pull it out before the entire thing is donated. So it does sort of give you that little safety net if it feels like you're going outside your comfort zone in decluttering anywhere, but maybe most especially closed closets. So we're going to talk more about that when we get to our month for closed closets. But right now, number 6 on our list is all about the sweater that we do not love. Just in case the chat is going by so fast that you're missing a really important resource, I just want to call it out. Lori posted it for us, and thank you so much for that. Like half knitted, crocheted, or needleworked items that like Nana couldn't finish, and I have one of those. The Loose End Project matches you with a finisher who can finish it, and that's a pretty special opportunity. So I've also seen someone that can take on a half-done project, not so much designed in that way, but they will finish a project for you. And you can find people that know how to finish crafts, which is not usually me, on Etsy, 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 E as in elephant, T as in Tom, S as in Sam, Y as in yellow, Etsy.com. So I love that. Thanks for all these awesome resources, everyone, and the support. The chat is just flying by tonight. And that just means we're engaged and connected. And I love that we have the opportunity to all come together. So this is just so special. All right, well, here we go. Sweater we don't love is number 6 on our list. And number 7, decor you don't love. So you can see that the love is the theme in the air, and I'm inviting you to consider if it's not a 10. If it's not a 10, I think not a 10 is a qualifier that you could use in probably every area that of your home, of your apartment, of your life, where you're sort of paring down and decluttering, if it's not a 10. So you probably, could look at something and go, I kind of like it. On a scale of 1 to 10, it might be a 7, maybe an 8. It's kind of difficult to dust. There's a lot of little crevices. It's not my favorite. I have something similar. Would I buy it again at full price today? No, it's not a 10. And so Possibly you might want to really start surrounding yourself with the things that are a 10. Easy to care and clean for, you love them, they make your life easier, or they just make you really happy. And so there's probably some things that aren't a 10, and we can pass them on to someone else. The other thing with this is really just like rotating. So Veronica's going right now. I can think of like 12 things, and that could just go like just and Veronica go for it. Go box them up. Let's find a new home for them, right? But if someone said to me, "Well, I kind of really like a lot of these different things, but when they're all out at once, it feels very maximalist, right? Every space is covered. There's wall art on all the open spaces on the wall, and that might be comforting to you, and that may be how you choose to design your home. In which case, I love that for you. But if you're trying to pare down and you're like, how could I do it without maybe committing to getting rid of things, tossing them, donating them, selling them, giving them away? Rotating is an option. So I give this example because growing up, we grew up in a Cape Cod style home, and there was a huge bay window in the living room. And so when once a month, the delivery would be, I think it was at Lennox, and it was one like woodland critter and their habitat. So it was like a raccoon in a tree stump and like a squirrel. I forgot what he was in, a log or something. I don't know. Anyway, I wasn't allowed to touch them, but all I could do was look at them. But I inherited them, so now I can touch them. And so I got all of the critters, right? And when I first received them, I was like, oh, let me display them, like how I remembered them being displayed in my childhood home. But then, they sort of blended into the landscape. I didn't really see them. It was a lot to clean. They were all on one level. I hadn't like given them levels, so they were just taking up a lot of space. And then like my keys were next to one, and the earbuds are next to the other, and I wasn't really, treasuring them. So I decided that some of them were going to hibernate. So I divided them into 4 seasons. And then every season, when I would swap out like holiday decor or, seasonal items, they would come out and I would unpack them and I would remember each one. And then the other ones would sort of go away and then they would come out again. And I still do that. And I look forward to it. And it prevents me, or I don't feel the need to purchase a bunch of new decor because I've got new stuff coming out consistently that I really love, that I treasure, that has a family story. So rotating, I think, can be a great option. If you don't love to dust it, we can say so long. And if it's not a 10. And so many of you are sharing like things that are not a 10. Karen reminds us that Savers is a great place, depending on where you're tuning in from, Savers. And I believe that is on my list of resources coming up. And if it's not, you better believe I will be adding it, but I think it is. Let's take a look. All right. So one thing not to toss. So we're talking about really the 10 things that we do want to consider letting go of. But the one thing that I don't want you to let go of is any sentimental decor that really brings you joy. And it's possible that there's someone tuned in tonight, right? Of the almost 400 of us here this evening going, none of that brings me joy. I'm just not attached to like sentimental things like that. I don't even keep greeting cards and stuff. And so you probably have something else that you would substitute in there. But for a lot of us, I think there's some sort of a decor piece, whether it's a rock you found on a hike or a seashell you found at the beach or anything else that you're like, this kind of like is pretty special to me. So that's the stuff I want you to keep because those are the things you can't replace, right? So if it was gifted to you, if it was made for you, if it was inherited, those are the special things. You can't just go to buy, at a store and buy that again. So these are the things that I would love for you to hold on to and have, display them. That's the stuff I'd rather you have out so that you can enjoy it. That's not the stuff I want you to just have like boxed up if it works as decor pieces, and not everything does. So think about ticket stubs and playbills and an old t-shirt or your first business card from a job. That stuff I think would be great in a treasure box. So maybe considering a treasure box as a place to collect those treasures. I think you and everyone that shares your home, if anyone else shares your home, should have a treasure box as the place to put those keepsakes. So, first baby shoes or anything else. So, a treasure box is a great strategy, but here's the thing, if it's in a box and a box is tucked away, we don't see the stuff, which is why my new strategy for myself and maybe for you too, and if you already have one that's working, let us know. How about a shadow box? So this is a shadow box. So it hangs on the wall or sits on a table, but unlike a picture frame that fills from the back and is not very deep, shadow boxes tend to be 1 to 3, maybe 5 inches in depth, and it opens from the front. So there's a little latch, the little clear window pane opens, and you can fill it. And this would mean that you could take, maybe you have inherited eyeglasses from treasured family members and loved ones. What if you were to put maybe an old timey picture cut to go into the lens, over the lens of the glass, and then see that? So that could be an option. So you can put in the treasures, put the display. Plus, if they're in a box like this, like a maybe a little bit of a shadow box, they hopefully won't get as dusty. So Joanne reminds us if you have a lot of little treasures, putting them in a large jar with a lid would be lovely. I have some family kitchen gadgets that were inherited from different family members, and they're in a mason jar in the kitchen, and it just makes me happy. I won't use them. I wouldn't want to ruin them. Plus, they're probably not safe to use, but it reminds me. And they were in the drawer, but they were in the way in the drawer, and how perfect. So, tiny treasures. Joanne, I love tiny treasures. Wonderful. So many good ideas, and so many of you are sharing other ideas as well. Oh my goodness. Yes. Cheryl points out that sometimes furniture doubles as a shadow box, like lift it up, put it under. And Cheryl, you remind me now, my mother took all the well, many of the greeting cards that we received as a family, laid them out on the dining room table, and then had a piece of glass cut to go over the dining room table. So we would see all the beautiful sentiments that people had written to our family whenever you sat down to dinner, and it was a great conversation piece when company came over, and then they were used and loved and enjoyed and seen, and she would add some and take some out. And so yeah, bring them out, bring out the memories, enjoy them, rotate them, decorate with them, use the good stuff, like drink your orange juice from a baccarat glass in the morning. Like, why not? Like, just do it. There's just like no rules, just do whatever you want, enjoy. So love the stuff. Oh yeah, magnet boards, Marianne, another great idea. So number 8 on our list is don't know. And I don't know what you don't know, but I'm guessing you don't know something on the list, just like I don't know a few things on the list. I don't know what it does. This especially happens to me with like the utility cabinet where there's like, I don't know, pieces of plastic and they might do something, but they might also have come off of something. I don't know what it does. Cords and cables and connectors. I don't know what it does. A kitchen gadget. Sometimes I have things and I don't know what it does. I also get some things like they call it swag when you go to like a conference or a convention and they give you like a bunch of free stuff in a bag. And sometimes I guess they're like stress balls, but they're not a stress ball, but I think that's what it must be. But I don't know what it does. Sometimes even like in the vanity drawer in the bathroom, there'll be like part of something that might have been and a part of like a blow dryer, like an attachment, but I don't know what it does. And I don't even own a blow dryer anymore. So I don't know. I don't know how to use it. If I don't know how to use it, you'd be hard pressed to convince me I need to keep it because if I'm not using it now, how is it going to help me? So I don't know how to use it. Don't know why you have it. Don't know where it came from. Don't Did someone drop it off? Did you buy it? You don't know where it came from. You don't know how long it was there. How long has this been in my drawer? Right? Have you ever said that? Like, where did this come from? How did this get in here? Is this yours? What is it? I don't remember buying it. Just don't know. And so if you don't know and you're comfortable saying so long, out it goes. If you don't know and you're like, ooh, but I bet you the minute I let this go, I'm going to remember what I didn't know, then maybe put it in a little Ziploc kitchen baggie, date it, question mark and such a date. And I would probably fast forward to like February 2026. I'd give myself a year. And if I saw that at February 2026, I would know that expired and I could say so long. So I would give myself all the seasons to figure out because sometimes it's a cable that like goes to a piece of, seasonal decor and you're like, "Oh, that didn't get put away. Does anyone know where the cable is?" So sometimes it really will come to light what it is, but you're probably going to know if it has like a layer of dust on it that like thick enough that you could write your name in it. That's probably a pretty good clue that we can say so long. So, didn't know. Oh my gosh, so many of you have awesome stories that you're sharing with us. This is so fun getting together. I hope you're enjoying it. Well, there was a question earlier, and so hopefully this will answer that question. And how funny that that question came up before you even probably knew this was going to be number 9 on our list. And my invitation to you is to take a look at replacements.com. Replacements.com. So if you cannot see the screen for any reason, I'm going to spell it for you, but it's replace as in I broke the gravy boat and I need to replace it. So replacements, and replacements does have an S at the end. replacements, replacements.com. And the reason I highlight this one for all of us together today is that if you have something that you think may have some monetary value, or you're simply trying to identify it because you want to replace a missing piece, or you might want to sell what you have, or you just don't know what you have. We had some, I guess they're called highball glasses, and they have like coins on them, and they're 18 karat gold. I didn't know. I didn't know. And I could have just put them out at a yard sale and someone could have probably hit the jackpot getting them. They do have some monetary value. Whether I not want to sell them, that's another story. So if you are thinking about, does this item have lead in it, there is a lead test kit you can get from like Amazon, or a home store, like a home improvement store. It's like a little I guess like a Q-tip, and it has a little potion and a solution. And if you touch it to the lead, it changes color. So that could be a good way to know. And of course, if you're ever unsure, I just wouldn't consume food from it. Just assume it's not food safe if you are wondering. But here is an option for us. So if you were to take a picture of whatever you have, pocket watch, estate jewelry, figurines. Remember I said the of the month little like critter club kind of thing? All of them, precious moments and Yardro, and I just all of them. Flatware and candlesticks and glassware and sets of dishes and Pyrex. Some of the Corningware, some of the older patterns have true monetary value. I don't know if you want to sell it. I'm just saying it might. If you can't tell, like I can't tell Depression era glass from all the other kind of glassware, I don't know. But who does know? Replacements.com. They are the really one-stop shop for most of us if you wanted to replace something. So if you did break your gravy boat, you could say, oh, I'm missing one from 20 years ago. Do you have a replacement? And they probably will. And why do they have it in stock? They bought it from us, right? They bought it from us. So they have a humongous warehouse and a extensive database. So you can upload a picture to them or email them a picture. They will probably pretty quickly identify it. I can't say for sure, but every time I've sent a picture, in about 48 hours, I get an answer back. This is this brand, this is this model, that's what this is, that's how we identified the glasses. And if they want to purchase it from you, and you don't have to, it's no contract, you don't have to answer them, you don't have to decline it, you just proceed if you want to, but if you didn't, you could just delete it. But if they want to buy it today and their needs change every day based on their inventory, you could follow through on the order, the purchase offer if you wanted to. And again, totally optional. But if you just need help identifying something, this is a great way to do it. So replacements.com, we're talking about just about anything that would come out of like a sideboard, a hutch, a curio cabinet, crystal, glassware, pocket watches, estate jewelry, candlesticks, figurines, collectibles, like all the things. So that's number 9 on our list. And we are going to move into number 10. And number 10 comes with a teeny tiny up. So I hope that you're excited to join us for this one. And let's go ahead and share with you the next one on our list. Here we go. Socks, specifically socks with holes, socks that are slippery to wear, socks that are uncomfortable to wear. The toe is off, the seam is difficult, the elastic's too tight, there's not enough elastic and it falls down. I have socks that I always slide on my kitchen tiles, so not safe. I also have socks with little rubber grippers, and then I stop too short, which is also not great. I have socks that constantly fall down. I don't know why, they don't seem any different than the other ones. Now, Nora says, my mother used to darn our socks. Oh, sure. Absolutely. And if that's, something we can take on, go for it. I have two pairs that if they get a hole, they're my favorite. One I inherited, so I'm using it because I didn't use it for a long time, and then I'm like, nope, I'm using it. But then I caught it on a nail and it whatever. Anyway, long story. I darned it. It's fine. Karen is giving us a good giggle. I have a hole in my sock right now, and then no matches. Yes, that's the other challenge. So I'm guessing in just a minute, there's probably going to be some really awesome friends here that are going to say in the chat, they're great for cleaning. There it is. I knew it. Veronica, thank you. Someone had to say it. They're great for cleaning. They're great for dusting. They're really good for like, running your fingers along slats on the blinds, right? Because I use socks for washing my dog's paws. So if it's like salty, muddy, or whatever, I can like get in her paw and then I can just wash the sock. My question is how many, right? So you give yourself one container. And Luann is so right. It is totally okay to wear two different socks. Go for it. It is that time. Just wear whatever you like. In fact, there is a multi-million-dollar company that they were built on selling mismatched socks. So that's the whole thing. It's a thing. So I love this. And yeah, use them on your reusable Swiffer for sure. So I love it. If you missed any along the way, we're going to have a recap. Thank you everyone who's filling anyone in who's asking what they may have missed. You all are awesome. I really appreciate that. So socks that you don't love, that no one else loves, you have enough for dusting, and we can say so long, but you can donate socks. And even if it doesn't have a match, you can donate it because they'll put it in the crafting section because someone that crafts doesn't want to just break open, a good pair of socks. So why not? And then insider tip as we move into our teeny tiny tidy up, as I replaced my athletic socks, I replaced them with the exact same brand. So I never have to match my socks again. That all the athletic ones, they're all the same. And those I won't wear two different ones of because then I'll feel unbalanced when I'm like doing my thing. So, but I love this. Awesome ideas, everyone. Are we ready for a teeny tiny 2-minute tidy up? Are there some socks you can say so long to? Find some that you can put into the recycle, or we're going to donate them, or you're going to put them into your rag collection. Maybe some will leave. Only you know the answer. Let's stay safe. Keep our feet on the floor. We're going to begin with a 2-minute tidy up in 3, 2, 1, and go. Teeny tiny tidy up. 2 minutes on our timer, and you're invited to tidy up with us. And we are down to 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are done. That's our jazzy little timer celebrating a win with us. So depending on how close your socks were to you, if you're in a home with 2 flights of stairs, it may have been 2 minutes to get where you were going. You may have substituted in a different project. If your socks were right over there or in the laundry basket that just needed to be matched, then they were probably a little bit closer and easier to work with. So jump in the chat if you'd like to share a success with us. Did you find a pair to go? And as a reminder, toss is just to someone else that can use it or somewhere else in your house. And if anyone is going to be mending socks or darning them, great opportunity to get out that sewing kit, which is probably in a biscuit tin. And there we go. Oh my gosh, so many of you have great stories. And listen, if you love it and want to hold on to it, I'm here for it. Save it. Special things you've had for years, absolutely. Just keep those things. Let something else go that doesn't mean nearly as much. It's not about tossing everything out. I'm not here to convince you to let anything go, and special things are like the best. So that's what we want to surround ourselves with. So here are just a few of the items, and welcomehomemass.org is of course going to be specific to those in the area of our library. And as we thought, Savers somehow isn't on our list, so please add it, and I will add it for next time for you. So a couple of different options. These are just a few. There are more. You can find them sprinkled throughout the different chapters in Keep This, Toss That. And there's a alphabetized list of about 150, and that's located at jamienovak.com, just the way my name is spelled on the video, jamienovak.com. So I'll leave this up for just another moment as maybe you are capturing some of the information, and please go ahead and add like all the other things. If you have other suggestions for me, please pop them in. Rich is asking what, replacements is good for some things, but what about like cameras and electronics? There are camera shops, there are record shops, they are buying, record shops buy vinyl and like stereo equipment, camera shops buy cameras, other types of like video related things. A lot of this isn't being manufactured, and there are collectors of it, whether it's in perfect working order or not. There's a value to it. So I hope that's really helpful. Um, yeah, and we will be talking about sales in the entire sale program. So I hope that helps. And yes, Nora reminds us always check with like your local DPW, call a municipal building. We can absolutely check out, for textiles recycling. If you have jeans, Levi's stores takes back denim of any brand. Eileen Fisher takes back Eileen Fisher clothing. You can actually sell it back. So that's really helpful. Great question about keeping magazines. We're going to pop into a Q&A in just a moment, and we can get to that answer for you and so many others. So this is what we covered during our time together as our hour elapses, and we're going to have to say so long. But these were the categories we touched on. And of course, the one thing not to toss is that sentimental decor that really brings you joy. Bring it out, display it, enjoy it, make you smile. Just go for it. So this was what we covered. And if you'd like to, drop your favorite tip in the chat. Which one are you going to work on? What was your favorite? What did you learn? All the lovely comments rolling through. So thank you. Yep. And I think we've covered the textile, but there are the bins. So thank you so much. Yep. So many awesome ideas for recycling those socks and so much more. You guys are the best. And if you want to commit to something, you might say this month I commit to, and then fill in the blank. You don't have to share this in chat if you don't want to. Keep it in your notepad, keep it handy. And then next month we can check in and see if you followed through. And I sure hope that you do. Thank you so much for joining us. This was our presentation about 10 things. Next month, how to spring clean your clothes closet easily, when we will be talking more about those textiles and how to ensure that we are properly recycling them. Absolutely. And so much more. So lots of resources, including, undergarments that you don't think you can donate, but you actually can. So lots of other ideas coming at you next month. Thank you so much for tuning in, taking an hour with us. This program, of course, was provided by our Chelmsford Public Library and sponsored by the Friends of the Library. So please do support the Friends if that's something you want to look into. You can check it out. There's the library's website, and it is brought to you in collaboration with Ashland, Groton, and Tewksbury. So thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in. Without you being here, this wouldn't be possible. If we're meeting for the first time and you want to stay in touch, this is a little bit about me, and you can find out more at jamienovak.com. So we are coming to the end of our time together, and I'm going to pop through into the Q&A to see what you would like to know more about. I love that you're loving the slides. Thank you for that feedback. I'm never really sure what resonates, so that's helpful to hear. I see all the awesome thank yous, so that really means a lot. And how long to keep magazines? I mean, the official answer is you don't keep them, right? They're designed to be read and then recycled or passed on. However, if you like them and you find yourself referring back to them, I think a year is the limit personally, but that's just a personal choice. Typically, you keep the newest one, let the oldest one go out. And if you have a vintage magazine, how do we know? Well, we can check something like an eBay. I don't know that you would sell it on eBay. I guess you could. But the idea of, do you want to find out? Just go to eBay and look at it in terms of, look up what you have and see what other people are selling. And it might tell, vintage magazines are tough. It comes and it goes. The best thing is if it's related to a specific event, that event has an anniversary. That's usually the best time to sell it, because then it's in the news again and really popular, and the price goes way up. So there you go. Robin, there's the list for you. I hope that helps. So many great donating magazines, the list on the screen, a local daycare if they're child appropriate, a teacher, art teacher, a local laundromat oftentimes. So lots of different ideas there for you. Wonderful. Art magazines to the library, to an art teacher, scouting troops. I mean, so many people need magazines. So hair salons, Karen, that's another good one. Barbershops, hair salons, doctor's offices. Yep. And then you could read them while you're there. Old cameras, there are camera shops and they buy them, right? And records, you could check a record shop. And there is value because those, cameras and old vinyls not being made anymore. So I love it. Well, we are in webinar format, which might be a little different if you were expecting the ability to have me see you and interact with you personally. Unfortunately, because hundreds of us are in, it is in a webinar format. So I do hope that you enjoy the time and don't miss our personal, interaction quite so much. Reusable gel freezer packs, that's a tough one. I would call the local recycling department because sometimes that gel inside is challenging. Also, there are the opportunity to like pay $20 to get an envelope to send stuff back. So I hope that helps. We can get more of that, and you can see that at jamienovak.com. There's a request for the list of 10. Oh, hang on, there it is. So I'll leave this up in our last few minutes, but we're over time and we have to say so long, but we're going to do it again next month. So I hope you'll tune in. It was lovely spending an hour with you. A big thank you to all the libraries for making it possible and you for staying with us and staying awake for the whole time. So it's pretty impressive. See you next month, everyone. Thank you so much. And we're going to say so long, but it was a delight. Happy decluttering. Let's go set that timer. We're going to do a little more decluttering.